What is up, everybody? You're live with the Prodigy, and this is kind of a breaking news type content. We're trying to diversify the content, talk about more stuff because I like giving my opinion about stuff. I'm pretty a well-read person. I like to give my opinion on topics, especially things that affect me, which this affects me a lot as a black man, as an American citizen, as a freedom fighter, as a justice person, all those good things. And this is something I would like to address. This is not going to be a very long video because it doesn't really need to. I'm going to do a longer one when the final sentencing of Tory Lanez come up next month. Almost a month from now, January the 27th, is when he's going to possibly do how many years he's going to do. And this particular case has me conflicted for so many different reasons. And a lot of it is less to do with the case and a lot more to do with how people are responding to it, all of the unanswered questions, all of the finger pointing. These are the things that are really affecting me and upsetting me. And generally, I don't care much about celebrity cases because it's not as important as people give the energy to it. And it is be people that need the support more. Like everyday people don't get it because Americans, we have an obsession with celebrity culture. So a lot of the times I really don't care about this stuff, but I'm gonna get into why I care about this particular case. First of all, the amount of people that are automatically blaming both parties involved with this without knowing the facts, without having access to the facts, is quite ignorant. So it's people that's going to blame Megan Thee Stallion because of whatever they feel about her archetype or her image of maybe these people been done wrong by a person that look like her, to act like her. Then it's the people that are blaming Tory Lanez because of their preconceived notions about people like Tory Lanez. Even celebrities, which is usually all these people are in the same camp and they're controlled by the same powers that be. They're even taking sides. Drake was talking about how Megan's a liar, and people from Megan's camp was talking about how she's a liar. But it was a lot of males and popular rap figures that were saying that Megan was wrong, and I was like, oh man. Now Drake is a very not only influential, he's from Canada. He's a very influential artist, and he's generally pretty coy about how he handles things. And to Drake's credit, even though I think at times he's kind of petty, to his credit, he generally is pretty factual about when he blames somebody for something, or his actions are justifiable. His whole thing with Meek Mills and the Nicki Minaj thing and all that. And later on, Nicki even was saying she didn't really want to be with Meek Mill. He was weird. Meek is a very obsessive guy when he wants something. And like I said, Drake's action is petty sometimes, but he's usually pretty honest and pretty loyal to people that are around him. And people like, who's this guy, Rap A Lot Records, Jay Prince, who a lot of people, for good or worse, are fearful of this guy, but he's known by a lot of people and revered as being a genuine guy. He has Drake back in a lot of situations. And like I said, Drake is petty, but genuinely his what he said about people is usually right because it's been confirmed by a lot of people. So who knows in this particular case what's really going on with this particular situation? It's a lot of switching answers. I had my opinion about the whole situation. So let's just back up for a minute and talk about why this trial has even happened. So back in 2020, which was a crazy year, the summer of 2020, July 12th to be specific, all parties involved, Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and a friend of theirs named Kelsey. I think her name is Kelsey Marie. We're at a party at the Jenner's house, and you already know this is good. This is not a running joke. This is what happens. They're at a party at Kylie Jenner's house, and apparently it was a lot of drinks and alcohol involved. And they found out that Tory Lanez was sleeping with both of these women. At least it was probably more. I'm going off what was reported. So he slept with both of these women, which my first thing was, okay, it was a bunch of people that had drinks that probably shouldn't have been in the same building with each other acting like children. Maybe it should have took a step back or went home. I was already out of the gate, was like, Tory Lanez, first of all, you fucked up. You took two women to a party that you slept with and expected not to be conflict when alcohol is involved. Like, come on, dude. And who knows what other elements was happening with who was instigating what behind the scenes. Because adults at the end of the day that aren't mature likes drama. And maybe that was the case here. I was leaning towards just that. And then before I went on with this video, I like do all my research. Because like I said, I don't keep up with shit like this because I honestly don't care. I think celebrity gossip gets too much attention when the world's problems need to be covered or news needs to be distributed or focus on issues that matter more, like people that get unjustly killed by the police that aren't celebrities, like regular people. You know what I mean? About how the media lies to us about just everyday shit that needs to be more covered. However, when I saw how everybody was picking sides, it's bothered me because I'm not a big side picking person unless it's irrefutable evidence that a person deserves to be dragged. That's the only time I ever do that. In this particular case, which I expect, I'm like, oh shit. Now we're gonna have the black women versus the black women, black males mob. We're gonna have the he, she pronoun, people attacking all black men. And one of the things in this particular case that stood out to me, at least from the black woman's perspective, is the double standard that a lot of black women get to have it both ways. Let's just go with the Cardi B thing. So Cardi B went on record, and I'm using Cardi B because she's kind of similar to Megan. She's a sex symbol. Whether she want to admit it or not, they are. Like all these women that be sitting there talking about respect her and all of that, people like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B have to respect themselves first. You can't expect people to take y'all serious. Now, granted, Cardi apparently, not Cardi, but Megan has extended her skills or bettered herself because she went to school for medicine or nursing or something I was reading about. So people like them, however, are going to forever be known for sex symbols, twerking. When you got shows called WAP and all that type of stuff, how do you expect people to view you? That's like if a black man came out saying, I kill people and all that, and all of a sudden he's saying, you know what I mean, stop killing people. Nobody's going to take you serious because you built your career off violence. You built your career off being this menace to society. So that's the part that I have an issue with, that all these women get to say, oh, slave queen and all this type of stuff, and try to automatically expect you to not put women in a certain type of bag when that's how they carry themselves. So Megan Thee Stallion was slut shamed. Now, I'm against women being slut shamed when it's unjustifiable. Just because a woman is gorgeous and she dresses, let's say a fully formed woman like Megan Thee Stallion, if she wears jeans and it brings out her figure and she's walking a certain type of way, that doesn't give a guy the right to, I'm gonna walk up to you because I perceived you to look like a slut. No, that's one thing. But when you carry yourself that way, and you don't be surprised when that type of energy comes towards you, that's the part I don't like, where people were saying, oh, well, her and her friend had to know that they were sleeping with the same guy. It is no way that y'all wasn't sleeping with this guy, knowing the type of person that Tory Lanez was, which he had an appetite for a lot of women. So that's the part that I was kind of conflicted with. Like, these women had to know that this guy was sleeping with each other. And then on top of that, so y'all go after each other when y'all both are in the wrong. I forgot who was dating him first. I think, was it the girl, Kelsey, that was dating first? Let me read the story because I'm getting a little fuzzy with it now because I read so much. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kelsey was dating Tory overtly, and then Megan was kind of sleeping behind his back. Then allegedly slept with the baby, and who else she sleep with in the same day within 24 hours or something like that. It's crazy. And that's when Drake and all these people got involved in saying she was a slut, basically. Like, she was a pass around and all this type of stuff. And what you have to understand is another issue that I have. A lot of women think because of black men are a certain type of way that, let's say he doesn't have much of an education. Some of the smartest black men I've met personally were gangbangers. They were in jail. They knew something. That was probably why they were in jail to begin with, because they knew more than what society wanted them to know. And we're going to get into the whole NFT thing and how that relates to the Tory Lanez thing and the whole Rock Nation. All this stuff. I've never read a story this mad probably ever in my life. This is crazy, the amount of elements and the conspiracies that some of them could be true, depending on how you analyze them. Just, it is insane with how convoluted and layered this fucking story is, and then how people are taking sides based off what details and information that they want to believe. This is the crazy part. So Megan Thee Stallion is a sex symbol and all that type of stuff. So a lot of artists been with her, and it's been confirmed. She didn't deny a lot of it. So when rappers like Drake make songs, he's usually very coy with, he won't say something, but it'll be a lot of details that you kind of got to dig out. And a lot of the times, like I said, when you double check and do the research, he's usually pretty accurate. Whether you like him or not, he's usually pretty accurate with how he do certain stuff, or when he exposes people's secrets and stuff. He's usually pretty good at that. So the whole picking sides and all that, what women don't do, and I'm going to get to what men don't do as well. What a lot of these women don't do online is they don't want to believe men when they automatically say a woman put herself in a situation when it was sexual related. That's where a lot of women, I feel they shut down emotionally and they stop listening when you mention that. Because men are usually who, what, when, where factual. Women are more generally lead with instinct. So the minute you start kind of insulting their emotions, they're going to stop listening to you anyway. That's just generally how women are. So where women are messing up at is they're stopping at the fact that you're slut shaming Megan and not going on the fact like, okay, how many guys have she actually slept with and put herself in a situation where she's been with these men that have this appetite for sleeping with a lot of different women, and she's voluntarily putting herself in these relationships with these people and expecting that women aren't going to be women at some point, because no women shares at the end of the day, even if that's the agreement going into what. Let's say you have a triple or however you said triple. Let's say you have that. After a while, a woman's natural instinct is to want to dominate and, oh, this is my guy, or they get connected or they get emotionally invested with the guy. After a while, that always happens. So I feel what went wrong with Kelsey, Tory, and Megan is a lot of dishonesty. A lot of them just weren't honest about what was going on. And TK Kirkland said it best because he was interviewed by Vlad. And TK Kirkland basically was saying that Tory Lanez wasn't boss enough to handle these two powerful type of women. And I don't think he was necessarily talking about his height, which Tory Lanez is extremely short. 5'2", that's really short for a guy. But obviously he has some type of stroke. Maybe people like his music or whatever the case may be. But all parties involved handled this the absolutely wrong way. And that's what led to this shooting. But getting back to the main point, and what my main gripe with this situation is, a lot of adults aren't being honest with equally criticizing everybody across the board that's wrongly involved with this. It's a lot of side taking, and that's the part I don't like. Instead of people sitting back and look like, that person was wrong for this part. They were wrong for this. Oh, man, you shouldn't have got involved with this. It's not enough fact checking before people jump to conclusion and pick a side. So a lot of these women with Megan and Stallion were automatically thinking that Tory Lanez was wrong based off his personality of having this appetite for women. It wasn't there. Hold on one second. Yeah, I got a phone call. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm back, y'all. So it's a lot of moving parts in this particular case that I have an issue with, and a lot of it is the finger pointing. A lot of people aren't really looking at the hard facts of what happened. So when you go back at the night, a party broke out at Kylie Jenner's house over this relationship triangle thing that they have going on, and then they get back in the car, and the only witness that was there said he saw the two women fighting over the gun. So these two women had to be Megan and what's the lady's name? Kelsey. They had to be fighting over the gun, and they said they saw a little gentleman, which obviously was Tory Lanez, get the gun away from him. Once he finally got it away from him, he shot it in the air. He didn't shoot Megan in the foot. That what they found in her foot absolutely was the glass. They found the glass, presumably from the window, in her foot. But let me go back for a second. Before they stopped by this house, they said he shot to stop them from arguing with each other. So Megan was in the back seat, the other girl was in the passenger seat. Tory was driving. So where this story gets a little fuzzy, and I started to ask questions that, okay, so if Megan was in the back seat, and glass hit her foot. Either Tory shot recklessly at the window or shot up in the air and then shot at the window, and the glass from the window hit her in the foot. Now, the footage, and I put the picture on here, does show Megan, but this is why I have issues with people recording things on cameras, and this is a similar issue with even with police killing unarmed, usually minorities, specifically black men. They only start the video at the part where the person that they want to say is a victim is at. They start it right there. They don't start it when there's usually never the video that covers everything. This is why I like people that have body cams, or if Tory Lanez, this is what Tory Lanez fucked up at. He didn't have no cameras in his car or whatever. He didn't have no proof to protect himself. And even when he was on DJ Academics, it seems like he was okay with the fact it seemed like he was hiding and protecting the other girl, Kelsey. It seemed like he was protecting her. That's the issue that I had. And I'm like, well, I agree with TK Kirkland. You just wasn't playing smart chess. Dude, if you didn't shoot her and it was an accident, why not do that and get yourself off from doing any type of jail time? You got all this money, all this potential as an artist. You're from another country, so they're talking about deporting you. Why the hell didn't you just say either it was an accident, or if the girl shot her, say, oh, it got out of hand, we had a lot to drink, it was a misunderstanding with our little agreement we got here, if they have an agreement. If they didn't, why not even lie to them? They don't have to know that. But the fact that you're just going down and not defending yourself, you're not going to get a lot of respect from a lot of respectable men doing it. And for the men that there are just blatantly saying, oh, Tory, free Tory and all that, dude, you better have a logical, first of all, if you're trying to kill your brand, you better have a justifiable reason to say some shit like that. Unless you just don't care. Some people just don't really care about their brand like that, and they're really willing to sacrifice it, for the lack of a better word, or either overly being too loyal to a woman, or how can I say this? Either being overly too loyal or just being stupid and not being advised by people that are more experienced and more versed in complex situations like this. So apparently, either Megan has really good defense attorneys or it's some nefarious shit going on from the money that she's getting. Because the father, a lot of people could say, oh, yeah, he was acting erratic because his son got arrested. Or, okay, maybe that was the case. However, the stuff that man was making, his father, after the initial verdict came out on the charges for the gun charges, the semi-automatic, and him not having to where Tory is going to be hard to get off on is the fact that he had guns, unregistered guns, in a state that doesn't allow that. So that's where he's fucked at. So whether he go to jail over this Megan situation, not get deported, is one thing. He's going to at least have some serious ramifications coming off the fact that he was not being intelligent when it comes to transporting an illegal firearm, unregistered firearm. That's where you fucked up at. And that's where his people around him weren't being smart. They should have told him, Tory, you going to this party, you need to be a little smart. He's got a volatile personality. So they should have advised him, like, this is not smart for you to do this. So it was negligence all across the board in this case, specifically for Tory Lanez, who has a lot to lose. Because the jury, the 12 people, of the 12 people, 7 of them were women. So you're already going in behind the 8 ball. And you got to use logic for a second. Whenever it's a domestic issue in courts, generally a lot of the judges and the jury are women. So he was not using his brain at all. And this is not to, if Megan Thee Stallion comes out on this side and she's right, I'm all for it. What I don't like is when people pick their particular gender side based off their biases and lack of objectivity. That's what I dislike. It's not about, oh, I'm going with Tory because he's a guy. I'm going against Megan because he's a woman. It's about facts. And black people, shame on y'all for, slave queen taking Megan's side. And shame on the dudes who aren't using facts to why they dislike Megan Thee Stallion. Now, this is what Megan was wrong at. Everybody, or I should say people in general, everybody was saying that Tory Lanez had a history of hitting people. Now, Megan did too. Why weren't y'all bringing it up? She fought her sick because Megan's a tall lady. So it's not this abuse like people make it out to be that, oh, he beat her. Tory Lanez is 5'2", Megan Thee Stallion is like 6 feet tall. So it's not this uneven fight like people say it was. Just like Rihanna is not as small as people say she was, even though if Chris Brown beat her unjustly, he's wrong. However, get all this, oh, these harmless women, because that's what a lot of this narrative is. He did this to this harmless woman. Y'all automatically don't believe women. Now, sometimes that is the case, and I've checked black men when they needed to be checked for that. However, when the same courtesy is done towards black women, y'all been hypocrites. When y'all say, oh, no, she was a harmless woman and, she didn't know what she was getting herself into and all this bullshit. Wrong is wrong at the end of the day. And all the facts prior to December 23rd, when he got his conviction, pointed towards that Megan probably was lying about getting shot in the foot. And even if she wasn't, why did she take so long it took months before she even ever said anything about, oh, I was actually shot and it wasn't just glad. Her story was fuzzy is the point. If he shot you, go to the cops right away. Despite people want to believe you're Megan Thee Stallion. You got money to get whatever investigation done against Tory Lanez that you need. So it makes people not believe you when you take so much time to report things. And then you throwing out these allegations that, oh, he's putting people out to slander me and all of that. Okay, you got this Rock Nation money, and you talking about how he's not that good of an artist. You're a better artist. Okay, so put your money where your mouth is then. These are the things that I think that people weren't assessing when they tried to automatically blame Tory Lanez. Now, let's get to the NFT thing because I got to bounce in a minute because I forgot I got to go pick up dinner. With the Tory Lanez thing, with the NFT thing, now, I'm not too much to the conspiracy theory stuff because I think people make a little too much of it these days without enough logical proof. However, it is a bit strange that Tory Lanez was talking about all this NFT and encouraging artists to leave their record labels. What was it, 6 months? He did this in December of 2019. This situation happened in July of 2020. It is weird, I will say, that A, he didn't want to sign with Rock Nation because he didn't like what the contract offered. And secondly, he was making videos and posts threatening Interscope. I think he was on Interscope at the time. Threatening to, if y'all keep doing this shady shit, I'm going to expose y'all. That's what he was saying. And not only that, he was saying y'all need to get y'all NFTs and all that and get the ownership of he was encouraging independence for artists and for them to get their masters. Now, we know there's always been shady stuff associated with allegedly Michael Jackson, Prince, Sam Cooke, and others, Nipsey Hussle, and a few other people were killed for shit like this. Now, let's take our, oh man, that's crazy glasses off for a minute, and let's think logically. Let's say Rock Nation was involved with encouraging their people, their lawyers and shit, was telling Megan, okay, well, even if you didn't get shot, it's enough evidence that looked like you did. Just say he shot you. And we'll get this dude who's talking about, now, this stuff does affect Rock Nation. Now, what if they artists like, Tory Lanez might be right. Maybe I should go independent and do this NFT thing. Let's say that was the case, right? It is a very plausible thing. And record labels are known for being dirty. I believe that Michael Jackson was killed. That's just me. All the other ones, I need to do a little more research. I don't know enough about all the other acquisitions. Like Nipsey, like he put himself in the situation. Prince was on a plane. Sam Cooke, that was a long ass time ago. So I don't know. But the Michael Jackson thing, I believe, because Michael Jackson was talking about this shit for years. So I kind of believe that. And then based off all of the research, it does. Michael Jackson's the richest artist ever. So it's very plausible that a record label would want to take somebody out that owned all those white people's music that he owned. And all those, he had power. He had Sony by the nuts. It was clear towards the end of this year. And if you do research, you'll see what I'm talking about. But let's say all this was the case. Only time will tell will come January 27th. But my final verdict, because I got to hop out, I would like to go longer. Maybe I'll have to do a part 2 at some time this week and give y'all more detailed breakdown because I got some information. But I haven't had a chance to put it up because I forgot I had to make this fucking run. What I'll say to close out this particular final video, a bunch of adults made bad decisions and a lot of people got hurt because of it. A lot more people might get hurt. It's going to be a very divisive social media with men versus women. And boy, it couldn't have been a better time with all of this uh with all of this social justice stuff and women up in arms and Me Too and speaking out movement and all this. It was they and I'm not gonna sit here for a second and pretend like these lawyers and all these people are rubbing their fingers like, yeah, look, we got these. We're gonna get some money out of this. They're all. This looks bad for all parties involved, but the lawyer. The lawyer's gonna come out looking better. It's gonna be better for their career. Meanwhile, these artists, whether no matter who's right or wrong, career is going to be got to suffer for it, unfortunately, and that's the bed that they made up. And yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be. But I just think it was a bunch of adults that made bad decisions, and shame on everybody that's not being factual, that's picking sides. Shame on y'all because it's legislation that's made off black ignorance because of cases like this, and this is what I'm really upset about. But yeah, I'll check y'all out another time. I just had to get on here. Like I said, we got to do a part 2 because there's a lot of details that I forgot to cover, and I hopped all over the place because I forgot I had only a few minutes. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all in a minute. This is a really fucking crazy case, though. Peace.